Hey guys, so this is the continuation for the reseal for the front cover on a 2017 Toyota Tacoma. And the last step that we did was removing the crank bolt, and now we're moving forward and continue this process, and we're about to remove the water pump on this and keep going. Okay, so this time I'm gonna go ahead and remove the water pump, which is 10 millimeter and 12 millimeter sockets, this way, so it will drain all the coolant before I remove the pulley. I want to make sure it's clean. They will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I think 11. Not sure if the bottom is connected. That's 11. So let's remove that and then we can go forward. All right, guys. So this is almost out. It's actually more than 11 bolts in there. A combination of 10, 12, and 14 bolts. I'm gonna show you what it looked like. And the hardest part I have is this one, right behind this tensional tensioner pulley, because it's already locked in there. But I got away with it. So let me pull this out and let me show you what the bolts location. And let's see, I'm gonna drop this. All the bolts location and what sizes do we need. Come on. See, this is the only bolt that's on the way right behind that tensioner pulley. So I did not pull the tensioner pulley all the way out, so that should come out. Try not to drop them so I know where they locate. It's a little force. There you go. It's out. Sometimes don't force things, so it should come out easily. There you go. That's it. All right. There you go. Let's move this out of the way real quick. Slowly. And let's see. Let's check it out. Okay, here's the water pump for 2017 Tacoma 2GR-FKS. There's the OEM one. It's made by ASIN, and the thermostat housing goes here, which is to ignore those two. This is 2 bolts, 10 millimeter bolts, a little nut there. But the total of the bolts here is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 of them, and 10 millimeter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here, 6 down here, and 12 millimeter, which is for the inner top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is, you can even see the bottom of these. 6, 7, 8, and he got 1, 2, 2 of the 14 millimeter ones. And make sure you look, you can't see underneath of these piece. This one down here, the 12 millimeter, and then 10 here, 12 here, and they all come out straightforward. We got a gasket here. All right, guys. All right, so we have the crankshaft bolt loose, which I showed you how to rig it. Come to the washer. Go ahead and remove these so we'll see the rest of this. Make sure we're looking at the right bolts that we're removing. Go, that's out. Then this is slide out like that. And you can't miss it. It goes one way because there's a notch in there. Just make sure you don't move everything. All right, that's what it looked like. And we're gonna start removing more parts. Okay, so this time my next move is to remove this I believe that's part of the oil filter. So my next move will be removing this oil filter housing as part of it, the top side. There's like 2 nuts here and 2 bolts on the bottom. That's 12 millimeter. The reason why I'm removing this so I can access to that, to one of the pulley here, which is 14 millimeter. And this might be a counter. Okay, let me remove that with 2 hands. Okay, so this one I have to use a 1/2 inch. It's pretty tight. And it's going. And a good pry bar and leverage. All right, so that's out. Then when you remove that, you'll be able to see all the bolts that behind it in order to remove the front cover. Okay, so it looks like we have everything removed from the front side of the front cover, which is the power steering pump, the the alternator, sorry, the tensioner pulley with the AC compressor, and we remove the water pump. Also, we remove this crankshaft pulley, which we had a hard time doing it, but we got it out. And one of the pulley right here, down here. And now again, it looks like you can see everything, all the bolt that goes in. This one, that, all around the perimeter. See that? You can see all the bolt that need to come out. And then the only thing we have left is the valve covers and the oil pan. I believe the oil pan, sub pan, would have 4 bolts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll show you how to access that without removing the whole pan. And this one with the valve cover, we're gonna start working on these. We'll start with the coil packs, remove that, and then lift. Technically, all you need to remove is the front side of it, but you wanna lift it evenly, the whole cover, so you won't crack it because they're plastics. So all right, let's get started with that. I'm gonna go ahead and might as well remove this cam sensors later on, but let's start with these valve covers. All right, now we're in the passenger side valve covers. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect all this for the coil packs, the connectors, all 6 of them. Once you got that disconnect, and I'm gonna go ahead remove the coil packs and set that aside, and we go from there. With the last coil packs here, you have to remove these Is that EGR or something? Move that. This is in the way. Then you can pull that out. All right, that's out of the way. All right. So actually, before we start removing all the bolts for the valve cover, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this bracket here. This harness has a bracket here, and look, I already removed one side here, that one, and one in the back right there. So that's moving, and there's another one on the other side. Let's go over there, check it out. So it will be easier for us right there. There's one here, and there's another one back there. And let's go ahead. I could probably disconnect this hose here so we can move that. We just need to free up some space before we pull the valve cover out. All right. So to remove the valve covers, it has, for the cover itself, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 10 millimeter, the holes around it, and you have to remove all the connectors for the wiring and these cam sensors. There's one down here, you have to remove that, and the other side here, there's 2 cam sensors that need to be removed because that's attached all the way to the head. And also this piece here, looks like it has a fuel line in it, so I have to disconnect the bracket back there, couple 10, actually 12 millimeter, and this piece here need to disconnect there. All you gotta do is pull the see that, pull that orange tab back and press the blue down, and then you can pry it out. And then here you have a, I believe there's a 12 millimeter 2 bolt there. That's for we're gonna be replacing the gasket too, but we'll do that later on. But right now I'm focusing on the front cover. So as long as it's up and lifted, and as you can see right now we are free and open. This front side is open, and I will be removing the sensors for the cam. I think, what is this, BVTI, I think. So that's free to go. Do the same thing here for the driver's side, should be almost the same. Make sure you test it to pry up slowly, so if it's not binding, keep going. But if you feel any resistant, don't pull it out, because it's plastic, it might crack on you. So bolts all around it, these brackets, couple brackets back here, and the sensors, and this piece here where the fuel goes into. And let's go to the driver's side. Okay, so the driver's side valve cover, it's about the same. You have 2 sensors that attach it, one here and one down here. So remove all the cold packs already, and it has 13 bolts that hold the valve cover. So if you're not sure if you remove everything, count them. It should be 13, and a couple brackets, and of course the wirings that goes in. You just remove them out of the way, and once, see that, lift it. I'm gonna leave it that way as long as the front side of the valve cover is pry out. I'm fine with that. We will replace the valve cover gasket later on after we finish the job for the front cover. So at this point, we remove everything. Let's recap everything in the front. The valve covers are out, semi out, just to be able to remove the front covers. I will be removing these just in case. I'm not sure if it's in the way. It doesn't look like it, but I will remove it anyway because they have a plastic parts. And now we're gonna go underneath to the all pan bolts. All right, so I'll just remove those VVTI solvent. I think that's a for the camshaft. those things. Remove it. I went ahead, loose this bracket, and make sure you don't leave the gasket there, the O-ring. It'll get stuck there. So put it here, leave it on, and that's the orientation how we'll remove it. One is facing down and the rest are facing up. And as we'll be cleaning that, and I'm pretty sure the O-ring gasket that comes with the kit that we bought. So that's good. And we go ahead in the open. All right, we are almost ready to remove the bolts on the front of the timing cover. Before that, there is a 4 bolt that holds that underneath, and which is right by the open sub open. One of them, if you're looking down here, you see this housing, the filter. There's one there. You can see it right there. One there. One. And the second one is right behind this. Okay. Okay. One there. This one here is the second one. The third one is forward this way. I'm gonna move some of these hoses here. I already loosened them, so let me get a good light. Okay, that's the fourth one on the far left driver's side, and the third one is right behind it. If you can see it right there. See that? So that's 4 of them. I already loosened them, so I'm going to remove them first. And once that loose, we can go ahead and remove the bolts on the front timing cover. Okay, so I got them out. The 4 bolts. The last bolt is there. It's just hanging there. I can't get it out because of the line. I think the transmission line, but as you can see, they're pretty lengthy, pretty long, and that goes to the sub open and like kind of like in front of the housing, also the housing, and goes all the way up to the bottom front side of the front cover. They're all the same size, so you can't really mix it up. But I like putting them in order. So that's it. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove all the bolts on the front cover. And this should be very interesting. It's a lot of bolts in there, but we want to make sure we mark them pretty good so we know where to go back. All right. All right. So I believe we removed all of the bolts that holds the timing chain cover, front cover. Kind of got it in order how it goes back. And the last thing that we have to remove is these studs right here. And they're like torque, reverse torque. As you can see right there. One left and right. They're like E8. Be careful removing them. You might break them. So go ahead and remove it. It will be easier for us to pry the front cover. So that one and that side. Then we're gonna start prying. Okay, so I'm gonna start prying it out. I'll start it in this corner, the passenger side. As you can see, I had to um, use the flat screwdriver and make sure you put tape on it so you don't scratch it so much. And do not pry it from the inside where touching with a gasket at. I'll give you an example. If you go here, if you look over here, this one I start prying there too. There's a little lip here. That's fine. You can pry there. Once you crack it open, then you put the screwdriver with with a tape on it. So I use some electrical tape. So once you're there, you go ahead. Let me see, get a good light there. Go ahead, push it forward. Right here, this lip, you can push it forward and tap it with a hammer. Then once it's cracked open, you can insert it in between. Make sure you have a tape on it so it won't scratch it. Let keep going. Alright guys, so we got the front cover loose, but there's something inside on the bottom is catching, so really have to drop the sub pan out. So first we have to drain the oil and remove these lower oil pan. So from here you have drain it and then loose all these 10mm bolts here, and then that's the first oil pan, and the second oil, the upper oil pan I'll show you. Okay, so this is how to remove the oil pan on any engine that is really sealed. With this one, we really don't need to replace the gasket. Um, my goal is to remove it to access the bolt to the sub pan because we're doing something else. But with this one, it's tight sealed. It's not really leaking. It's hard to remove it. But what you can do is pry it first. Once you have it pried, make sure it's not too sharp. like this one. You have a tape on it, so you can see. And then pry it just a tad bit, and then you have a razor blade, and then slice to it. You gotta slice those gaskets out slowly. So make sure you're just slicing the gasket itself, and then once it's a little bit cracked open, you could probably get another pry bar screwdriver like this one. So once you have it here, it's and then stick it inside. Once you have one there, then keep prying. As you can see, it start moving. I'll show you. Start moving. Then you got a razor blade to slice it. Cut the gasket out slowly all around it until you'll be able to pry it. And that's how you do it. Slowly but surely, because that's really tight sealed. Thank you guys. So once you kind of like all the way in, you start cutting it through inside slowly, and make sure you have a tape on the end of your tip of your flathead so you won't scratch the metal piece. Alright, so that one is about to drop. There we go. The lower whole pan is out. Alright, so that one is out. Now we're gonna remove this part here and unbolt all the nuts and bolts for this upper oil pan, which is, there's two up here, and if you remove this, there's two more there, and then all along the side it will be a total of 16 bolts. Okay, so I'm about to remove, actually I already started removing the bolts for the sub oil pan, the upper oil pan, which on the passenger side I have those, and two right there on the driver's side. However, there's three more on the back side that I can't even reach because it's too tight. There's no room, which is right up here. Let me see if I can show you. Right there. Got one, two. There's like one. Let me see. One, two, right there. And now I have space now. What I did is I supported the front differential, which is right here with this jack stand, and just loosen these bolts that hold it. And now I have like about, that's a good 1.5 inches. Now I have room to get to it so I can lower the sub pan. Alright guys, so I've got disconnected them and loosened the sub oil pan, so you can see right here. There you go. So make sure you have all the 16 bolts and 16 bolts and 2 nuts under it and like around it, and there will be 2 inside the lower O pan. And also because we're supposed to drop the whole engine, but this time don't forget on the bell housing there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 that holds the sub pan right here. See that how I dropped that? And also to access one of them up there, you have to remove these. There's 3 12mm there, and then you should be able to access that and pry it on. There's one by the you can pry it by the driver's side right under the, what is this, AC compressor. So you can see over there, let me see, I'm prying it there. See that there's a bracket there that you can pry it, and then once you start prying there, you can go ahead back to the passenger side and start prying here. And that's what's catching underneath, and that's why you can't just remove the front cover without removing the sub pan. Specific for this newer engine, 3.5 2GR-FKS, because as you can see, I think that's the oil pickup, oil pump. There's something sticking that one, and the front, it should come out horizontally towards the front side. All right, let's go ahead and remove it.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
So we're ready to pull the front cover. Let's see. After all this work. Here you go, guys. And we had to lift it with the hoist, with this engine holder, just a tad bit, just because of these. What is that? Oil pump sticking in about an inch, so that's why we had to drop the sub oil pan. That's it, guys. Oh yeah, that's where the leak coming from right here. All right, it's about to clean it. Let's clean it. Okay, guys. So technically, we have the front cover removed now. I could clean these and put it back on. However, because we removed the sub oil pan, I have to remove it too, entirely out the car to the truck, because I won't be able to put some gasket properly and cleaning it properly. So in that case, I have to remove the front differential to get some access for that to come out. I know I should have removed this and gone this way first, because we're gonna do it anyway, but I have no choice to remove it to get this done properly and to seal all of them properly. So now we will go ahead and remove the front differential. Hey guys, today we have this 2017 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, and I'm gonna show you how to remove the front differential. And I have it lifted already, and the front differential is right here. And let's get to it. All right, first thing, we have 2 bolts here. One look like 19. I'll check that in a little bit. These 2 here, and we have to remove this cover plate here. I actually already removed 2 bolts that goes here. That one, and I will have another Allen nut that goes here that I need to remove, and from under the top, and have to disconnect that part here. So let's get going, one at a time. I'm gonna start doing it. All right, first we're gonna separate this cover to axle the axle nut and get a chisel. Open it up slowly. Get a big hammer, a mallet. You want it to crack open. that once you get that pry out. There you go. Set it aside. Then we got a cotter pin here and this clip, and then we're gonna remove that nut. Okay, remove that nut. That is size 35 millimeter, and that should be out. Next part to remove is there's a 2 bolt here underneath. You can just remove these 2, that one and that one. Not sure what size is that. Let me see. 19. Yeah, that's 19. Probably 18 too. Yeah, those bolts are size 19. The one underneath, they're size 19. Right here. Once that's out, this gets rotate sideways. No, I can actually just push this in. Let me see. Probably need to remove the lines. Let's see. Look at that. Yeah, I need to remove the tie rod, at least this one, so I can spin the other way. That's probably size 19 as well. Okay, so that's once the outer tie rod is out, you can go ahead move that, put it away, and we can spin this one side, and we'll be able to remove itself. Let me see. Good angle. Push it. That's out. Then that should come out pretty easy. Let's see. Okay, so I got that out. I just have to loosen one of the stabilizer a little out so I have flexibility, and this brake line loose, so be able to get it out. So we're good on this side. We're gonna go ahead and do it the other side, and then disconnect all the wiring connectors in there. It's the same. It's gonna be the same thing here on the other side. Okay, now we gotta separate the axle shaft from the front differential. What you need to do is get a 2 pry bar, evenly pry out like this way. But to start it, if it's not budging, to get like a metal, go to this notch, and then just tap it, and it should come out. And expect a significant gear oil coming out there. So what I would do is get a rag and cover it up with rubber gloves so it won't spill much. Once I remove it, I'm just gonna put this in there. Let me show. Let me see. That should be out. Should be able to pry it. You just have to top it off later. Want this out. That's a lot of oil. There you go. And that's out. And then I get a rag. Just cover it with the rubber glove so it doesn't leak as much. Then you can remove that, put it aside. And let's do it same thing with the other side. Be the same process. Okay, so once you get the axle shaft out from the differential, there is a connector on top of it. This one. Unclip that. Technically, this one you don't need to unclip it because it goes together with the front differential. I already did it. Another connectors is, let me see, on the the driver's side. This one here. Let me see. Hope you can see it. Let me get a good angle. Right there. See this connector here? I think that's the differential sensor. Front differential sensor. This one. And there's a bolt on top right there. I don't know what's the bracket. That's a 12 millimeter. Go ahead and remove that too. Then once you get that out, let's go ahead this big shaft here. Remove these, and then they will unhook it. Then we got another bolt, an Allen nut here. Remove that from the top. That one. Either that, remove that, and this one too. And then that should come out. And we have this one here too. It's I already got one out, and this one is just holding there. And that should come out. Let's go remove it. Alright, so the main shaft, I got it separated from those. You got 4 bolts, size 14. And once you got the bolts and nuts are size 14, then you pry it out. And my last one will be the bracket on top here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that, the one with the Allen down here. So go ahead and do that, and we're about to drop it. All right, so the Allen that goes here, that's a size H12. Let me see. Yeah, it's H12, and that's what it looked like. You just remove that. Actually, just remove that one. And you're gonna remove these right here. I have 2. I already got one out. This one is loose already, so I can just unhook it here. Loosen it. Let me see. Have to grab this. Make sure it won't fall on me. Let's see. I believe I got everything disconnected. So once this is out, grab this. I'm gonna hold this. And we got it tilts a little bit forward. So I'm gonna lower this slowly. Let's see. There. I got that. Plates out. Unless something else is catching on top. I gotta check it again. Let's do it. Let me double check before we drop it. Okay, it's actually out. You just have to slowly drop it and kind of like tilt this just a bit. So come out. There you go. Then slowly drop it. See that's connected here. It's good. And there you go. That's your front differential. That's how you remove the front differential. It's pretty easy. You just make sure you look what you removing. Okay. And I can just drop it on the floor. Don't tilt it too much so the gear oil won't come out. A lot of them. And that's it, guys. Alright, so now we have removed the front differential. It looks like we have pretty good view of the sub pan. Look down here. There you go. That's our sub pan. We go ahead to disconnect all the wirings. We got here. Let's go ahead and disconnect this. And see, it's just hanging in there. And it should be able to come out here. And so we can clean it. So all the oil leaks there. Alright. Alright, so we got the front differential removed. We're going to attempt to remove the, we call it upper oil pan or the sub pan. First, let's go disconnect this. One connector right here on the passenger side. This bolt for the bracket. And this one for the what's that, oil filter housing. This is disconnected already. We did that already. And just double check if anything is connected. Nothing else. All the bolts are out. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop it. So expect the oil to be dripping. What I notice is the oil filter housing is in the way. Let's go ahead and remove that. That will have two nut right there. This one right there and one on the other side. This one is a longer one right in there. Let's go remove one bolt and a nut, separate them, and then we can drop this easily. Alright guys, so that is out. That's your sub oil pan. I had to remove this housing right here. It has actually two nuts and one long bolt right here. And when you separate that, this will come out pretty easy. So there you go. Now it's time to start cleaning all these. So prepare for gasket. Same thing with the front cover. Cleaning all this. We're gonna replace all this gasket here. A new O-ring gasket. Replace all that. Everything on the one in the motor. Replace all that. And let's go ahead, and when we clean it, we'll go ahead to install a new gasket there and put it back together. Alright, when we are cleaning, all of these has to come out. This old gasket here, that all to come out. We're gonna clean all these. Same thing, where is it gonna go? All the old gaskets need to come out. Old ones. This has to come out. We gotta clean all these. Make sure it's 100% dry before putting everything back. This gasket here, O-ring gasket, we need to replace that. We do have that in my kit for the water pump right here. See this? Oh, for the water. Remove that. Those are just the RTV. We need to clean all of them in order to put it properly. Same as this didn't have much, but we're gonna clean all this one. Once we get that, we can install the new gasket maker. Make sure it's 100% dry as well. Alright, so I got everything out. We have a front cover for the timing chain. We have a sub oil pan. That's our front differential. I'm going to clean the front cover first because that's gonna go back in first. I'm gonna clean everything. See all this gasket that we have here? And clean all that, and I'm gonna sand these surfaces here. It's gonna be clean, as you can see right now. The old gasket's still there. I'm gonna show you what's gonna look like when it's clean. It has to be like that, smooth like that. And we'll start with these. After we clean that, we're changing all the rubber gasket grommets right there. And we'll show you what it looks like when it's clean. I'm gonna use this to clean it. This is a fine, it's kind of like a Scotch Brite, and it's not gonna hurt as long as you don't go too deep. Just to clean the surface. Let me show you the example. Let's go right here. See that one? That's dirty. So I'm gonna clean that. Make sure you go flat on this one. Let's see. See that? That it's clean. I'm gonna clean some more, of course, but that's what I want it, dry. And I'm just gonna wipe it with alcohol or acetone. All right, let's keep cleaning. Alright, so our front timing chain cover and the sub oil pan is already clean. Let me show you what it looked like. Alright, let's see, focus it a little bit real quick. There you go. So everywhere where the gasket is gonna go are clean and smooth, as you can see right there. All around here they were smooth and clean, and this one too, same thing as sub oil pan. These are all clean and smooth. Alright, make sure there's no gasket left like that one. There's something in the hole, I can clean that up later. There you go. And also the bottom of these are clean, like brand new. So we're gonna replace those O-ring gaskets, and of course we're not done yet. We still have to clean where it's gonna go. We have to clean those and that area for where the timing chain at. More work to go. Alright, so after we clean these sub oil pan and the front cover, now we have to clean the one by the motor, this side. This is going to be nasty, but we're going to do the same thing. Remove all this gasket here, leftover gasket, sand these all around this area. Remove the old covers, and right over here, it's gonna be tough here, but we're gonna try to clean it as much as possible. Same thing here. All right, let's get to it. All right, what I'm going to do, I have a red scraper. It's a plastic one. You just slowly scrape them like that. Same thing with these. Remove them all as much as possible. All right, so once I remove all the noticeable gaskets, old gaskets, and you still have some few more in there, what I'm gonna use is the Scotch-Brite to clean them like this, so make it smooth. See, then it start getting really smooth in there. Just make sure they're all clean and wipe it off. See that? Clean it. You got a long way to go, but this is the easy process, but it's critical. If you don't do it right, it might cause another leak. All your work, all your hard work will be pointless. So make sure it's all clean. All right, and make sure you get this. This is your for your coolant. Make sure you get that dry, so when you put the gasket later, it's dry. It won't be dripping any coolant. Same thing as this side. And this one, the O-ring there, that's a new one. Replace that too. And long way to go. See that? I'm gonna clean that with a Scotch-Brite. Same as this one here. All right, guys. So once everything is clean, what I did is this front cover I assemble it without the gasket. For the reason is so I'll know I have the right bolts location, like every single one where it goes, that I'm not missing anything. And this missing holes right here, that's for the water pump. So I'm gonna pre-fit that too. And all these bolts location is right, and it's not the if you forget about this where it goes, you can tell the small one, because this is three sizes, small, 10, 12, and 14. The 14 won't go to the 10. The 12 won't go to the 10. So those are 10 ones, small, same as this one. And this is for the thermostat housing, so that's empty. Also, as the 14 size won't go to the 12, so you can see right there. And they are all the same length. This 12 millimeter, all the same length with the 12s. Same thing, the 12s here, 12s here, and this is the 14 millimeter. You got two of them and a bunch of, that's 12 as well. So 12, 12, 12. This is 12. Another 12 here, and a bunch of 10 millimeter too. So make sure you fit it properly. Same thing as the for your oil pump. Make sure it's aligned properly so it'll go in. So that's what you need to do. And these holes here, I know this is for the alternator. That's for the alternator as well. And this one is for the tensioner. And this is the AC compressor. This is for the tensioner, and that's for alternator. And the big one here is for alternator as well. And I know that's empty. And this one is for the power steering. And I think everything is good. So now we're gonna put the gasket on and install it. And make sure you have the torque specs ready as well. So I'm gonna remove these, lay all this flat, make sure I know where it goes. before install the gasket. All right, so we'll be using these Toyota Seal Packing 103 FIPG, and to use it, it says apply seal packing, assemble parts within 15 minutes after application. So we can put it there within 15 minutes time period, and 30 to 60 minutes before driving, and hardens within 15 to 16 hours. So we can apply these, and we can torque it down within 15 minutes, after 15 minutes actually. So we have a torque specs here for 2016 to 22, 3.5 liter torque specs. So we can go to the timing cover, which is here. It says here, once everything is ready, you can place the timing cover into the engine and begin to torque down the timing to 15 foot-pounds. So Toyota torque timing torque specs is 15 foot-pounds for all the bolts around it. And let's see the water pump. The water pump torque specs a little bit different because there's a 10 millimeter, that's 8 foot-pounds, and 15 foot-pounds for the 12 millimeter, and yeah, that's the 14 millimeter is 15 foot-pounds. So make sure you're all ready for that. You got your sockets ready, all sizes you need. So you can, and your torque should be all ready. And when you put the timing cover, we're gonna put the water pump at the same time too. Make sure it's aligned and ready to go. Then you torque them. All right. Before I actually installed this, I went ahead and removed this front main seal, because we're going to be replacing this as well. Go ahead, clean this up and put a new one. We have a new one here somewhere here. Let me find it for you guys. And there you go, guys. So that's the front main seal we have. You can go ahead and install it, so it'll be easier to install. You gotta clean this, make sure it's dry, and put it in. All right, installing this new one. You're gonna put a little bit of oil in it. Not plenty of oil back here. Just do something around it so we're going smoothly. And make sure this is clean. I wiped them out already. Be dry. Then put it on top. You could use the old one you have. Put it on top and tap it with the mallet around it. It should go in pretty easy. See that? Like slowly until it's flush. And also you can do like a socket, make it flat on the side, slowly tapping it all around until it's flush. You don't need a lot of pressure in there. All right, you can see they're flush around. It's not sticking out, and you're good to go. All right, once we got everything clean, Scotch Brite, see what's the result. So you can see those are shiny, clean all around it. All right, so before you put the gasket in here, I'm gonna go ahead clean this with brake cleaner, spray it in the rag, and wipe this around so it'll be dry, perfectly dry, wherever the gasket is going. Same as in the engine side. Go wipe it with alcohol or acetone on the rag, so make sure it's dry and degrease. And also When you do that, do not forget to put the pin in the back. The pin goes both sides, one here, and so it align there, and one on the other side. And I got myself ready. I know the torque specs already. Um, this is how I prepare myself. I got my bolts ready, where it's going. I got all my 14 millimeter sockets and my 10 millimeter and 12 millimeter. And just once I start putting the gasket on it, I just pretty much keep going and install it here. So when I'm installing it, I'm gonna drop it down here, start the hole with those studs we have here from left and right side. Studs there, and the studs goes first to here. One here, one down here, and one up here. All right, start putting the gasket. All right, guys, so we got all the gasket in there. We have 15 minutes to put it on. Make sure you have everything on that side, in the middle, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the V on the middle top. All right, let's go ahead and install it. Now you gotta be careful you aren't hitting anything. Let's go ahead and install it. All right. So I'm gonna drop it down. We're gonna put it right where the stud at first. Be very gentle. Stud, one in, and the second stud goes in, and has to be parallel when it goes in. And I'm gonna kind of hold it down here so it will line up. There you go. So that's line up. I believe that's line up. If you look at it, still there. You get the stud there, stud here. This is in. So what I'm going to do, I do have the first two big bolts here. So within 15 minutes, I'm going to let it sit there for a little while. So we have 15 minutes, so we probably spent a good 1, 2, 3, 5 minutes now. Let me put all the screw nuts on it, and then we're going to tighten it. We got all this ready. Let's go put it back. All right, we got everything in. Let's go ahead, kind of like hold and tighten this. We have what we call from the inside. This is the inside part, which is before comes with the water pump. So I'm just gonna tighten it by hand first, all of them, because we can. Go ahead, tighten them. All this 14 size 14. So the big one, this holds the it does hold the timing cover too. That's why I had to put the water pump as well together while it's drying. And it says wait to torque it 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and just hand tight them. Just hand tight them. It's been 15 minutes. So one at a time. And after that, we're gonna torque all of them. So most likely here, these are 12 and 14. 12 and 14. So I'm gonna go ahead hand tight auto 12 too from here from the water pump, and we'll torque them later. All these and bottom of the water pump. Make sure you don't miss them. Like this one, as you can see, still not fully in, but it goes there. Let's leave that holds. Okay, inside and out. That's what you need to do, inside and out. And let me go ahead and tight all of them. Then we'll talk it later. All right. So once we got it installed, it's been over 15 minutes. We can go ahead and torque them. All the 12 and the 14s millimeter are 15 foot-pounds. So we have this torque here. Got it set to 15. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Start with this big one from middle going out and crisscrosses like this one. And I'm gonna focus on the one that's attached to the engine, which is this big ones here from the water pump, and it, not with a 10 millimeter for that. So we have this one. Let me see. Let's go ahead. So 15s and size 14 and 12s are 15 foot-pounds. Like for example, this one, the torque down 15 foot-pounds. That one, let's torque down. That's torque already. And another one here. That's torqued. Another 14 here. That's torque down. All right, we can keep going on this one. Yeah. One click and a little bit turn. And we're gonna double check that later on too. All right, keep going. All right, so we've got the front cover installed. And make sure you have everything there. See, sipping out a little bit. That's good. I torque them down too, so everything should be good. I will torque them again later when everything's done to double check it. But for now, we're going to the sub oil pan. This is clean. We're going ahead, lift the truck, and clean the bottom side of it. All right, the truck is lifted. Our sub pan is clean already, so our next stop is to clean the bottom of the block. Where is it going? As you can see, it's still dirty. I have to clean these. Probably just a Scotch Brite. Same how we clean the rest. Those gaskets are replaced already. We replaced them already. And make sure that you won't lose that pin. That side, you got one here. There's one pin there. And another pin here. And let's clean it up. Let's go and check this. That seal is looking good. Make sure it's drying. And let's clean it. And we can install the sub pan. Alright, so I cleaned it up just a little bit. Not done yet. I just want to fit all the bolts that I need. I'm not missing anything. I have this two 10 millimeter back here, and these are all 12. And these 4 underneath the valve cover, I have them. I got in the bag 4. And on the passenger side, you will have, starting from the front, you got a bolt and a stud. Same thing with the driver's side, bolt and a stud. So bolt, stud, bolt, short bolt, and one long bolt. And a short bolt that goes inside the sub pan. This is like the one removed from the inside of the sub pan. On the driver's side, you have a bolt, stud, bolt. Those are short bolt, and two long bolt. The reason why I got long bolt in here, as you can see, I'm gonna show you. These two 10mm, I have them. Remember, you know where it goes. Because when you go to the back side of the sub pan, the long one, if you put it right in the middle of the front side, sticking out too long, and they will help. As you can see here, this one is deeper and perfectly goes that. Same thing here in the back side. There's two of them. That's how you check if you have everything is properly. There you go. And one more in the back of this one here. So clean. Let's go ahead, finish up, clean these. I'm gonna go ahead, remove them again. Remove all these and organize it. Make sure I got it properly ready before I install the gasket. But right now we have to clean it perfectly, clean as